how do you go about learning it and doing the business if you're starting from scratch? The market's a lot more developed now than it was the last 20 years. And now it seems we don't see people starting these companies from scratch without support anymore, not successfully. You'd have a tough time competing with the companies that are doing this. They have 10 or 15 years under their belt. Here's a box of books and DVDs and CDs and VHS tapes and pamphlets and workbooks and all this stuff. And they would just, here's $15,000. Here you go. Good luck.
One mess up could ruin you, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But one deal can also bring in $100K. All right. Hey, welcome to the James and Jaden Real Estate Podcast, where we talk about real estate and maybe whatever else comes up. Today we have Jaden in the studio.
All right. Clap for myself.
Yeah, you can clap for yourself. That's sure. I just want to say a quick funny. He's actually wearing long pants now because when he arrived here yesterday, picked him up from the airport. It was roughly 60 degrees, let's call it. And there's my guy in a pair of shorts and a flip-flops. I'm like, hey, I looked at the weather. Everything should be fine. Well, guess what happened? We woke up this morning and there was, inch and a half on the ground?
The white stuff on the ground.
Yeah. And he's like, I swear I looked.
I checked more than once, too, to make sure. I didn't even bring any pants.
That's what Minnesota's all about, right? I mean, it's you never know at this point in time. So
I can wear shorts when it's 32. It's fine.
Exactly. So anyways, Jaden's in the studio today. I think what we really want to talk about is why would somebody want to get our franchise, a Home Guys franchise, versus, you know what, we were deciding if we were going to talk about it or not. We're going to actually talk about it. Joe Homebuyer is a franchise that's out there. Keegley is another one. We're going to talk about some of the fees here too on each one of these. And so we have a better understanding of like, hey, maybe what you're getting from us, what you're getting from them. What's another one? Well, and probably the most famous one, right?
HomeVestors, We Ugly Houses.
Right. Yep. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And again, why you should come to Home Guys, right? And, like, obviously we think that we built something even better than what was already built. So let's dive right into it, and welcome to the show. Let's do this. Clapping. Okay.
Yeah, well, I think if you were, let's just start from the beginning. If you're going to start a business like this in real estate investing today, what are your options for getting into this business? How would you, how do you go about learning it and doing the business if you're starting from scratch?
So if you're starting from scratch, you can go the long way. I think that's what we did.
I mean, I just started doing it over 20 years ago. Read some books, just started doing business and learning it as I went. And you could still do that. It takes a long time. I think one thing I've noticed now with the market's a lot more developed now than it was the last 20 years. And now it seems like we don't see people starting these companies from scratch without support anymore, not successfully. I have not seen it happen.
Some kind of support, right?
You have to have some kind of support. I think 15, 20 years ago, you could figure it out and do it because there wasn't a very developed market. But now you've got competitors that are very well established, including ourselves.
I mean, we just in our market, our Minnesota market, what do we have, like 4?
There's basically 4 to 5 bigger companies doing this.
And we're still thriving, guys. That's what's really cool. Is, again, our the way we do things, our systems, our marketing, we're competing.
Yeah, and if you were starting out from scratch, not knowing anything, well, you'd have a tough time competing with the companies that are doing this. They have 10 or 15 years under their belt. So that's where, a system like what we offer, or there's other ways to go about it too. There's other franchises out there. There's also mentors and gurus you can work with, which I would not recommend. I don't think that running a business that way is, that's not going to get you where you need to go.
Well, one of my pet peeves is these gurus who say they do all the stuff, and then they're like, well, where's your business? Oh, no, I don't have a business.
A lot of times they don't even have the business. I know, like, when I was first getting into real estate, the education space was like, here's a box of books and DVDs and CDs and VHS tapes and pamphlets and workbooks and all this stuff. And they would just, here's it's $15,000. Here you go. Good luck. And that was the industry. I don't think that ever worked for anybody. Like, no one ever actually built a business off of that, as far as I could ever tell. Because the stuff, the industry changes every year. Mm-hmm. And that stuff, a lot of times that stuff's 10 years old or more. So I think that education space is still out there. They still sell it. But I don't see people like successfully creating a business out of
Even
that.
during the big boom, there's a lot of stuff that they taught before that didn't work during the big boom.
Yeah.
What I mean the big boom is COVID and
Well, the pandemic.
the
Yeah.
pandemic. Basically, it's everything went crazy.
You just can't start a business off of a book. I mean, the business changes constantly, so you need to have ongoing support systems and structure that you can count on and that are constantly adapting and evolving with the marketplace.
Hey, here's something I didn't realize, but if you have ADHD, this business is for you
Yeah,
because it's
changes
constantly
constantly.
changing, right? and
Yeah.
and we all know that I have a little ADHD, so that's probably why I love this business. It's the same thing, but it's different, right?
Yeah. You can't get bored of it, so that's kind of a cool thing about it. But so yeah, if I was starting out today, like I would definitely not go down the education course thing. I wouldn't go down the guru mentor thing. I don't think it's enough. It's the ongoing support's not there for it to be successful. So I think you're really looking at some of these franchise opportunities is probably the best way to get into this business.
Yeah, because then you have the support of people who have been on the ups and downs, highs and lows of the business.
You have
Again,
somebody you can call when you got a problem, you have a question, because inevitably you're going to run into something you don't know the answer to.
well, you even remember, I remember when you wanted to do something like this, but you didn't have a business partner. And so you, when we kind of met and we decided that we were going to do this flipping business, it made things, I hate to say more fun, but
Oh, it's more interesting going to work with somebody else every day.
you're right. It's
Working
so
by
it's
yourself is kind of boring.
even as you as being a little more of an extrovert, that it still was good to have somebody to bounce stuff off of. And you guys we're dealing with high buck items. One mess up could ruin you. To be
Yeah.
honest with you,
Hmm.
but one deal can also bring in $100K.
But I think that's why if you don't have these support systems and people to ask questions of, that people don't last in the business because, especially early on in the first year or two, if you make a mistake, which you're likely to do, you'll be out of business. And it's really easy to get out of business in this industry.
What we try to do is set you up is like you guys. It's going to happen. Okay, we have this one property again, not to get off on a tangent, but everything should have went from the start to we're buying it right to the very end. Well, we didn't realize that we're going to deal with inspectors, and inspectors were getting fired, and people were coming in, inspectors that wanted to prove themselves to the city, so they're calling out stuff on our deals. It's like we had no clue that that was going to happen. No, somebody didn't pull a permit. At the very end, I think we lost $20,000, but we did everything right from the start. And so again, that's a fluke, but that does happen.
Things happen, and sometimes we've also made mistakes too,
Mm-hmm.
and lost money from it. Learned along the way. So yeah, we've had our fair share of bruises. Lessons we've learned.
But I like to also think, and I want to make sure everybody go back on a positive, that the home runs too that we hit,
Yeah.
the grand slams that we hit, it all goes more towards positive at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, we've done over 1,000 deals at this point, well over 1,000, and high 90s percentage of them were profitable.
Our record is probably under 10. When you and I are in charge,
That we under 10 deals total.
only under 10
That we've
deals
lost money on.
total, and I want to say, let's just hypothetically say $30,000 total.
Yeah.
That's really good, to be honest with you. But again, we understand risk and reward a lot different.
And once you get into a higher volume operation, you can start taking some risks that you couldn't do because then it's a numbers game, right? If you do 200 deals and you lose money on 5% of them, it just washes out the numbers.
Right.
It's okay. So you can just but if you're doing less deals, you've got to be more cautious for sure.
Well, I also think when you're doing less deals, you're probably digging into it that much harder. Would you?
Yeah, you can be more careful.
Yeah, you're not just making a call. You can dive in a lot more. We kind of got a little bit off track, but again, I don't mind getting off track because I want to explain.
Yeah,
to
so let's
people
talk
what's
about
happening.
the different things that are out there. I think we're not experts on the other franchises available. We have some. We've heard. We've learned some things about them, so we can kind of talk about what we know or think about what we've heard about them. And I think just do your own research and talk to them yourself and see what you think and compare them all against each other, including us. So let's just start with the oldest one, HomeVestors, the We Buy Ugly Houses company. We looked into this. I looked into this over 10 to 15 years ago, and was really close to pulling the trigger on it, but I couldn't do it because of the rules they had around real estate that you already owned, if you already owned all these different rentals that I did, if you sold the properties you already owned, they were going to charge fees on those properties to sell them, which I didn't understand that. Like they had nothing to do with properties that I already owned, but they wouldn't exclude them, and that wasn't the only problem, but that was the absolute deal killer for me. And then there was other issues with the fees being pretty high and the marketing costs being pretty high and not having enough control over how the marketing is done.
And to explain to everybody how they do marketing as a whole versus how we're going to do
Yeah.
marketing, and maybe the advantages of that.
Yeah, so they do a pooled marketing system where you don't get an exclusive territory. So say we're in Minnesota. So if you're in Minneapolis, the Minneapolis Metro, you're not getting any exclusivity at all. You're in the area with all the other HomeVestors franchisees in the area, and you put money into a pool, a marketing pool with everybody else. All that money gets bunched together, and then it gets spent on whatever marketing the corporation decides to do, which you really don't have much of any say over at all. All you have say over is how much you put into the pool every month. And then however much you put in as a percentage of the total pool, you'll get that money. They'll round robin calls and leads to you based on how much you put in.
So let me give you, let me see if I'm hearing you right. So let's say Home Investor 1 puts in 20,000, but Home Investor 2 puts in 40,000. He should get
Twice as many leads.
Twice as many
Should.
leads, right?
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah, approximately.
But so it's not even by area. It's just like, hey, the phone rang once. I realized that they were probably selling nothing, but it still went through their systems.
You don't. There's no quality. You don't know. Like if the phone could ring and it could be a bad lead, But it's supposed to kind of average out on the end. Is the way it's supposed to work,
Sure. Now explain what we do as a Home Guys franchise.
Yeah. So we give you an exclusive territory that you as the licensee or franchisee own that territory. So if you're in a city like our Knoxville, Tennessee guys, they own that market. There isn't another Home Guys in Knoxville. It's just them. So they own. The other thing with the marketing is that this is a little bit unique how we do it. We don't run the marketing spend doesn't come through our company and then back out again, which most of these franchises do it that way because they can tack on fees and they can have a lot more control over it. What we do is we connect you with all the marketing resources that we use, and then you have a direct connection to them. We don't add any fees to it, and you can control what kind of marketing you want to do. So in different markets, sometimes TV works better, or radio works better, or billboard works better, whatever. And we understand that we'll help you figure it out, but we're going to let you, have the final say over how it works.
On that note too, is we actually still can run your advertising campaign. It's obviously going to cost you a few dollars, but I'm just trying to say is like if you don't know advertising, you don't know what to advertise, we're there for you.
Yeah, we can basically turnkey it as much as you want. The resources that we use for marketing, it's pretty much turnkey, I would say. There's as far as the creatives and stuff, we can help with creative as well, like the producing videos, like this all requires design. We have all these designs already, but we're constantly creating new ones as well. So yeah, we help with all that. It's as much or as little help as you want to have, but at the end of the day, you get to decide what you want to do, and you get to decide on what creatives you want to use. It's not corporate telling you what to use. You have a lot more control over it, and which I think is important because people that live in Knoxville, Tennessee, know that market better than we do,
Mm-hmm.
and they know the culture and the people and things like that better. So I think that's a much better approach. But a lot of the other franchises out there, they run it differently. They run the marketing through their corporate, and we just chose not to do it that way. We also keep it. I think it's a little bit more efficient. You get more bang for your buck the way we do it, because we're not tacking on fees to the market.
Yeah, I'm sure that they tell people that they get more bang for the buck because then they can go national advertising. But I really think this is something that people want to buy from their local person.
Yeah, and there really isn't anyone doing actual national advertising for this.
Right.
I mean, I think HomeVestors did do national like back in the 90s, but they haven't for a long time. So they're all doing local market advertising, really no different than we do. So those are pretty big differences. Also, the fee structure. I believe our fee structure is lower than everybody else's. Do your own research. I don't want to comment on their fees, but as far as the research I've done, just using like ChatGPT and asking to compare the top franchises, against each other fee wise, ours appear to be by far the lowest fees. And we did that on purpose. When we started this company, we wanted to make sure that we're successful when we start. And if we're helping somebody else start a business, we want them to have enough cash flow to keep growing the business. And if they're getting feed to death, they can't grow the business. So we wanted to keep the fees lean and help you grow your business and not run out of money right away.
We want you. Obviously, we want everybody to be successful, but we're going to try our darndest to make sure that you're successful along with you. Now, it's not only on us, right? It's on you too.
Yeah.
But that's just something that we really strive. We just don't want to. We'll even dive into this. We just don't want to sign anybody up that says they have the money and sign them up. You have to be a culturally fit.
It's got to be a good fit for everybody because we're partnering basically. We're working together with you. It's got to work both ways. We've all got to be comfortable working with each other because we're going to spend time together. So, but I would just recommend go on ChatGPT or Gemini or your favorite AI tool and ask it to show you the fee structures for all these different franchises and compare them. So Home Guys USA, HomeVestors, Keegley is one of them. Keegley, Keyglee, and then Joe Homebuyer is the other one.
Red Barn.
And Red Barn Homebuyers is another one. That's a pretty new one.
So the only thing is, again, I can't say anything else. Joe Homebuyer, I want to say that it's more on the wholesaling side of things, which they also preach a little bit of nationwide wholesaling. Again, I don't know too much about it, so I don't really want to say anything. But that's going away. Or we're sticking to our state.
Yeah, all these franchises have a little bit different business models. They're not exactly the same business. So Joe Homebuyer is not the same business as what we run. So Joe Homebuyer is more of a wholesaling business. We're a little bit more of a flipping business. We do wholesaling too, but we're really a flipping first business with wholesaling as an extra thing that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Homebuyer is really a wholesaling business, and they really focus on, as far as what I know about them, Google PPC has been kind of the main thing that they've focused on, as being really dialing in Google PPC, which we do PPC as well, along with a lot of other things. I think that's been a big part of their focus is that. So that's what I think what they do. But again, talk to them and find out more about, they can tell you themselves what they do. Keegley, I think they focus more on, from what we understand, more cold calling,
There's really
agents.
no advertising. It's more.
It's not marketing.
It's
calling.
That's all they're doing. They're putting 4 or 5 hours a day.
Burning the phones up. So if you get a franchise from them, they're going to teach you how to burn the phones up and call agents, call other people for referrals, and that's a wholesaling business too. They're just trying to wholesale deals.
They're
as
not
far as I
flipping.
know. Yeah, and they have a pretty high franchise fee. I think it's $100,000 up front.
Yep.
So that's one. And we've got I think Keegley's in Minnesota and Joe Homebuyer's in Minnesota. I think they're both here.
Joe Homebuyer, I don't think so.
Were they here at one point?
I think at one time they were. I think it was coming out of one of our other bigger cities, Mankato area.
Oh,
and honestly, they still didn't know how to do it right. Every time I looked at it,
the Keegley guys haven't. They're still around, but they don't do a ton. We don't see them that much.
The one of the things that Keegley, and again, I can't really say for Joe Homebuyer, is they're trying to find that one person to buy a property. So it's a, hey, I got this property on 123 Main Street at $200K. Do you want to buy it? Nope. Okay. Hey, I got this property on 123 Main Street. I mean, they just continue doing that over and over until somebody goes, really? My great aunt just gave me, $200,000. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And the darn thing's probably only worth, $220. And again, you just got to find one buyer. And I'm not downing their.
It's just a different business model.
It's different business.
If that's what you want to do, then give them a call and talk to them. We focus more on inbound. We want people calling us to do business with us. We also focus more on the investment side of the business. So we're, mostly buying properties and improving them, renovating, doing construction. We have a construction division.
I didn't even realize this, but let's say you want to get into this business and you want to start owning rental properties. That's something that, we can sit you aside and say, this is what you need to do. I will tell you, most people already have maybe some rental properties already in that they're getting in this business. But if you want to learn about that and how to maintain and get more rental properties for your own portfolio, that's something that we can sit down and talk to you separate. Jaden and I have our own little portfolio together that every time maybe we try to grab 1 or 2 properties a year and put it in our portfolio. So it's there's something that's there.
It's a great way to get your tax bill down. I mean, you can get your tax bill down to zero if you want to, but
Yep.
by holding rental properties. This business is really cool if you want to get your taxes to zero. It's very, very doable, very viable to do that. So then the other one was, we talked about HomeVestors. We haven't talked about, so HomeVestors, actually the business model is pretty similar to our model. They frequently tend to be flipping companies. They do some wholesaling. But they pool the marketing, which we don't do, obviously. They have very heavy fee structures that we don't have. So most of the home investors that we were familiar with aren't really in business anymore. I don't know of any in Minnesota that are still operating. I have not seen them.
There's one guy that's been around for a while. But
Still doing it?
Yeah.
When we started this 10 years ago, there was a couple big ones actually that were going, and I think the way that the pooled marketing and the fee structures, I think they couldn't compete.
Mhm.
Honestly, is what happened. So I think a lot of them didn't survive, and I think the company's still around. It's a national company. They're still in business, but I don't think many of them are doing that well.
I want to say that most of our meetup groups that we've been to,
They used to be in a home
yeah,
investors,
and then they got the
they
heck
got
out.
out. Yeah, a lot of people have gotten out.
I don't know if I've ever been to a meetup that had somebody that was
where
still.
somebody was still in it.
Yeah, no, now you say that.
It's been a while. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think I've seen somebody for 8 years that's actually active in home investors.
Yeah, because well, I think part of it is they started going to these meetups and realizing you don't pay those fees. You're doing what?
Yeah.
And you're getting what and how? That doesn't make what?
It's almost like when the first flat fee brokerage came out and all the other brokers that were charging 50% splits on your commissions, and then these flat fee brokers were like, keep all your commissions. We'll just take a transaction fee.
Right.
Once that happened, all those old brokers really started to die. And I think home investors is kind of the same thing. It's like they're still charging this really high fee structure, but there's other companies like ours that are providing better service at a much lower cost.
So what's the old saying? We built a better fly trap?
Better mousetrap?
Oh, mousetrap. That's what
for a lot less money.
I kept saying fly trap, but yeah, okay, it's mousetrap.
So yeah, home investors. But yeah, one of the people that used to be doing that I knew were running a very similar business to what we do. They were flipping houses mostly, and that part of it was very similar. So, so we covered Keegley, the phone business, Joe Home Buyer, kind of the wholesaling, Google PPC business. They probably do some other stuff too. Home investors.
We don't really know
marketing.
about Red Barn.
Red Barn, we don't. They're pretty new. I don't know too much about them, but they're a couple years, maybe started a couple years ago. From what I have seen, it looks like they do flip houses, I think. But that's about all I know about them. So I mean, you'd have to talk to them. I think their fee structure is higher than ours, but give them a call and see what they have to say about it.
I know they're running the piggybacks of
HGTV.
HGTV. Yep. We're sorry we haven't been on HGTV yet.
No plans.
If you guys haven't figured it out, Jaden and I we're pretty low key. Do we like nice stuff? Yeah, but we're not flashy. We're all about. I think it's a lifestyle. It's being able to do what we want to do when we want to do it, and not having to worry about checking in with your boss.
Enjoy the people you work with. Enjoy the work you do.
Yeah, when you own a franchise, and you're the owner, you get to set your tone. You get to set how you want the culture, the business. I mean, just everything, because that's what you want.
Yeah,
that's why you started a business.
Yeah. So yeah, to summarize, I think I believe that we offer a very good system to get you up and running. I think we have some of the lowest fee structure around of anybody. You get pretty direct access to the founders, me and James, because we're still pretty small. Some of these bigger ones like Keegley and HomeVestors and stuff, you're not going to talk to the founders, I'm sure. So that isn't going to be true forever for us.
I truly think that we don't necessarily want to be completely huge, but we want to be way bigger than we're at right now.
Yeah, we want to be able to support the first 10 or 20 locations really well personally, and then after that it's gonna get too big to where we can't personally help probably at that point. But right now we still can. So
yeah, and I think that's what we like to do. Let's talk about like our training, maybe like what they get, besides once a week training, as a group training for your team or just for yourself. It's more of a like wins. How can we help you? Again, the first 30 to 90 days we're helping you out a lot.
Yeah, we have an onboarding plan that Jen, she runs the franchising part of it. She's got onboarding plan the first couple months where basically every day and every week you've got a checklist of things you've got to work on. And then at some point, they usually come up to Minnesota, like month 2 or so.
It all depends. Well, it all depends on what the
Yeah, sure.
weather's
But
like.
if you come to Minnesota for a week and you'll do sales calls with our sales team,
Yep.
you'll see our inside sales people work the phones.
We've even had Knoxville. They came up here in the beginning, and then about a year later, they had some staffing changes. And like, hey, can we come up there and hang with you guys again for
Yeah.
a couple days? And that's what we're here. We're here for you. We're here to show you what your goal is to get to, right?
Yeah.
Again, everybody wants to own. We have our own brick and mortar office. You don't have to have that. So you can build this from 1 to 3 people, and we'll have all that laid out for you of like, hey, if you have 1 to 3 people, this is how many deals you should be doing at an average of this. Just kind of break it down for yourself. Or you could jump into 10 people and make this as big as it's very, very scalable. I guess that's probably what we
Yeah,
want to let
yeah.
people know.
You could run this business as a solopreneur with a couple, maybe an assistant or something like that. You could, and it just depends on what you want to do, how you want to work, and how big of a team you want to manage. So we've got a pretty big team here, and I think for people when they come visit, I think part of the benefit is seeing it, so they can see, oh, like visually, this is what this business looks like, and I can envision our business being like this in a couple of years. I can see that we'll have this inside sales team and outside sales team and the construction team and the finance people and
Mhm.
all that stuff. It's just different when you can actually see it in person and meet the people. So there's a lot of value in that, I think. And then sometimes you've gone out to their locations and helped them with sales calls and things too, right? And
Yeah,
coaching.
yeah, of course. I will definitely do that too. If it works out on the plan, I come in there for a couple days. Try to understand your area. I see a lot of things. I've been in a lot of different areas. It's not just the Midwest. I have different sales tactics for the Northeast versus the Midwest. You got to be a little bit, harder,
A little more aggressive.
more aggressive.
Yeah. So then we have, like I said, Jen kind of runs the onboarding and everything. So it's it's pretty well documented and structured now because we've done this a few times now. So um,
You guys, when if you've paid attention to any of our podcasts at all or anything, there's one of the sayings that we say, and we truly, truly believe it. We literally made the mistake so you don't have to.
yeah, that's the whole point of this.
Right.
That's the point.
That's so. We got some training in. We got we talked a little bit of French. So you guys, please don't hold us to like, that's not what we do over here. You guys, that's not the point. Okay, the point is go do your homework. Go do your research.
Go talk to those other companies and find out. We're just telling you what we understand about them, but we're
Yeah.
not the experts on them, obviously. So give them a call and talk to them. Or evaluate them yourselves and talk to us and see what we have to offer. But yeah, I think we also, we've developed the marketing systems for 10 years. We spent millions of dollars developing marketing and figuring that out, and could save you a lot of money trying to, guess yourself as to how to do it.
We didn't talk about it yet, but one of the things that you will be getting extra is our dispo side of things. It's called Homes for Less, and what we're trying to do is we're building that up. So when you get a dispo, we have a Homes for Less. You can push it over there, and again, we can help you run that dispo side. Everything is set up to either show you how to do it, or hey, we can do this part for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, we want to help you grow your business.
And our company is set up now. We have enough support in our internal company where we can take on other people's territories for different things. Like if you want help with leads management and sales, we could potentially help you with that. And if you need help with accounting, we can potentially help you with accounting and bookkeeping.
Yep.
So it just depends on what you want support with.
Yep. We can even send Brady down and he can do podcasts.
We have marketing people, video production people. We've got social media people. So we've got kind of all the pieces for our business that we can share out to your business.
Yeah.
Without having to staff it up yourself fully.
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, you want talk about it, get one of us on the phone, just click the link below. Are the links below or right?
It's
okay.
down apparently.
And give us a call, and let's have that conversation and see if it's good for you, if it's a good fit. If it's a good fit, let's make this happen. So, you got any last parting words?
No, I think we'd love to talk to you. If you're interested in getting into real estate investing, give us a call. If nothing else, you've probably learned a few things from us just on the phone call. So, love to chat with you.
Yeah, if you know anybody that wants to be on a podcast too, hook us up. Also,
Yeah.
we're all about jumping on different podcasts. So, I don't really have much else to say on that subject. So, I think we've said it all. I'm sure we'll say it again
Yeah.
some other time. So, you guys remember, I'm over here. Guys, remember, we made the mistakes.
So you don't have to.